try to like learn. Like I've been sitting here for a while trying to figure out if Hand of Rag is actually worth using on a warrior, right? Let me see if I find my math. I had a rogue that was damn good at PvP. Teach me how to counter rogue. And that's what I do with people in my guild is I teach them how to counter warrior, because I have a rogue friend in my guild who claims that he cannot beat a warrior no matter what. And I sat there and dueled him one day and walked him through exactly how to do it. And then lo and behold, he could fucking do it. So anyway, I figured out the math so that you can see exactly what kind of damage you will be doing with a Hand of Rag as opposed to a Bonereaver's Edge. Are you ready for this? Here we fucking go. So, first off, let's look at the top ends. The top end on the Hand of Rag, 372. Okay? Top end on Bonereaver's Edge, 310. Okay? Cool. So, 372. We're just going to go off purely top end here. Obviously, there's differences of random number generator, but we have to pick something. An average would probably do better, but we're not going to go off average. We're going to go off solid numbers. So, 372. Now, let's take that and compare it to my armor, right? I'm going to sit up for this shit. Alright, my armor. I have 4,503 armor, which gives me a reduction to melee attacks by 45%. So that is the amount of physical damage that I will be take, 45% reduced from all sources, right? So if we take 372 and then we reduce it by 45%, that puts us down at 204 damage. Okay? So you're looking at dealing top end, non-crit, no strength modifiers, 204 damage just on that weapon damage alone to someone wearing plate like me. But 12 strength is equivalent to 6 top end weapon damage. So this would have plus 6 added to it, which would put it up to 210 autos, right? So just 210 damage. Now, if we take Bonereaver's Edge and we stack it up, 2100 armor, that would bring my armor down. The 2100 armor reduction would bring my armor down to 2370, right? Which only gives me a reduction to 30.1% of physical damage. So 310 reduced by 30%, 30.1%, brings it down to 217 damage for your top end. So when Bonereaver's Edge is stacked up with all of its stacks, it does more single target damage.
I fucking got it.
Than Hand of Rag does. And it's sword spec. Eat a dick, all you warriors that have Hand of Rag. The fire proc's good. I'm not gonna lie. It's good. But the fire proc does not equate to sword procs. And I'll tell you why. Yes, it can do true damage because it's 273 to 333 fire damage, which counts as spell damage and bypasses armors. And yes, it does scale with spell damage. So it does scale with shamans and paladins. But the reason why it's not good for a warrior is because even though that would do more damage than what we talked about, which would be the 217 weapon damage, I don't even know if it can crit or not, but it doesn't matter if it can crit, because that fire proc cannot proc Hand of Justice, and it cannot proc Wind Fury, and it cannot proc Sword Spec. But it would be taking the place of Sword Spec, but it can't proc those other things. So your Sword Spec also generates more rage. That's why Sword Spec's good. So you're trading out
this damage here, this 273 to 333 fire damage, 75 damage over 10 seconds, for Sword Spec, which gives you Rage and also has a chance to proc Hand of Justice and Wind Fury Totem. That can't do that. So no matter which way you try to cut it, Hand of Ragnaros is not as good as Bonereaver's Edge. I rest my case. Court is adjourned!